どうも、勝手に電力2.0で見始めたいと思います。今日1446回目というところで、このインドネシアの太鼓発電というところが、どういう状況になるのかみたいなところをですね、少し見てみたいな。この717メガワットっていうところで、まだまだ全然入っていないっていうところが、ある意味予測できるかなというところですね。このサマリー見ていきましょうと。In 2023, the global renewable energy sector saw a significant increase, adding 473 gigawatt of new capacity and 87% rise, according to IRENA. Solar energy led this growth, contributing 73%, 346 gigawatt of the new capacity. China dominated, installing 217 gigawatt, 63%. すごいですね。中国が217ギガワット、63% of the global total. While India and Brazil also made notable gains with 9.7 gigawatt and 11.9 gigawatt. やっぱりこの後にインド、ブラジルみたいなところついていくんですね。Respectively, driven by auction and favorable policies, Southeast Asia lagged, adding only 2.7878 gigawatt from 2021 to 2023. But countries like Malaysia, the Philippines, and Singapore showed positive momentum. Indonesia, with vast potential, achieved a record 260 megawatt in 2023. This solar growth is essential to meeting the global goal of tripling renewable energy capacity to 11 terawatt by 2030 set by COP28. Solar energy is on track to meet these targets. だからソーラー自体は、結構オントラックなんですね、目標に対して。With annual capacity additions at least 1 terawatt projected from 2024 to 2030, contributing 23.6% of renewable capacity by 2030. IESR constantly tracks the solar energy progress in Indonesia and has released and the Indonesia Solar Energy Outlook 2023 back in 2022. Since 2022, Indonesia has added 510 megawatt of new solar energy capacity. This capacity addition mainly comes from utility scale installation, 280 megawatt. Also, rooftop solar has shown remarkable growth in the same period, with 196 megawatt capacity added. Off-grid installation has stagnated since 2022, with some progress on small-scale pre-electrification projects such as mini solar lamp and mini home system. Unexpectedly, captive sites adoption in solar power has grown significantly, with over 100 megawatt of new capacity installed in this period. Since 2022, solar-related policy landscape in Indonesia has shifted quite significantly. The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources (MEMR) regulation by 2024 has finally stipulated in early 2024 after lengthy discussion over the years, with the quota system for rooftop PV has been effective since July 2022. 実は2020年7月から、ある意味開発割当みたいなところがルーフトップ屋根上のところでソーラーで始まっているところですね。The abolishment of net meter system in the regulation has also shifted the market balance in the big industrial and commercial consumers. Floating solar deployment is also gaining momentum, with the Ministry of Public Works and Housing (MPWH) Regulation 7 by 7 2023 allowing the water body usage, further supported by partnership with parent subsidiaries for bulk solar project procurement. Finally, the Indonesian government, specifically the MEMR and the Ministry of Industry (MOI), has finally took important action to reform the local content requirement (LCR) policy for solar energy, with the MOI Regulation 33/2024, MOI Regulation 34/2024, and MEMR Regulation 11/2024 are effective starting in August 2024. This will have an impact on several solar project development, including the Indonesia-Singapore Green Electricity Project, which already saw 3.4 gigawatt of conditional export approvals and license granted to 7 entities. Annual investment in solar energy has also constantly rising in the few recent years, from around USD 68 million in 2021 to USD 134 million in 2023. This positive investment trend in solar energy is also apparent in the solar module supply chain, as a total 19 gigawatt of annual solar module production capacity has been announced, along with 200,000 million tons of solar-grade silicon annual production capacity, 11 gigawatt of annual solar wafer production, and 70 gigawatt of annual solar cell production. Indonesia's solar energy future looks promising, with the latest energy plans showing the significant solar expansion. To meet climate targets, however, Indonesia needs to raise its renewable energy ambitions with solar at the forefront. The proposition of the second NDC offers an opportunity to integrate solar into climate commitments. Key projects like the Indonesia-Singapore green electricity export will drive growth, but strong leadership and regulatory clarity are crucial. Floating solar and strategic partnership will support implementation by 2025. Regulatory effectiveness will be assessed, and infrastructure development will be key to handling high solar penetration. まずはキーハイライトですね。Indonesia's solar power capacity 22, 22 quarter 2, second quarter 2024ということで、実際にこの captive of grid, rooftop, on grid ということで、どんどん増えているんですけど、まずはこの on grid っていうところがかなり増えてきたり、このルーフトップっていうのが増えてきているのがわかるかなと。ここで、今累積で、この717メガみたいなところになっている。ね、Solar power has contributed to 346 gigawatt capacity addition globally in 2023, or 73% of global renewable capacity addition. This global trend is also reflected in Indonesia's energy planning, with the latest national energy policy draft estimating around 31% of Indonesian primary energy supply by 2060. However, Indonesia installed solar capacity has reached 717. まさにここが717メガしかないですね。As per August 2024, 2024年8月ってことね。The biggest contribution came from on-grid PLN installation with 2085 megawatt installed, including the newly enacted 145 megawatt Chilata floating solar that almost tripled on the grid solar capacity in 2023. Indonesia's current progress on solar development is inadequate to comply with global climate targets, as several benchmarks show that Indonesia needs to add around 9 to 15 gigawatts of solar energy annually between 2024 to 2030. そうですよね。まだまだ全然足りなくて、2024から2030までに、毎年9から15ギガワット、結構ですね。日本で基本的に最大値が5ギガワットみたいなところ、太陽光がどんどん入ってるっていう状況なので、これを超えるようなところがいるってことですね。comply with the Paris Agreement 1.5 CECIL pathway ということですね。Indonesia's announced solar power project capacity ということで、実際にこの 16.92 ギガワットっていうところに対して、実際見られてのこの captive 3.75 ルーフト2.35みたいなところで、ここが多いと。もう一つ、このインドネシア・シンガポールグリーンコーディナープロジェクトと、このインドネシアとシンガポールのところが結構大きなところを占めている。As per August 2024, there are a total of 16.92 gigawatt of solar power project that has been announced. PLN is set to execute 3.24 gigawatt of solar projects from the LPTL PLN 2021 to 2030. These projects are dominated by floating solar 1.33 gigawatt. これやっぱりフローティング、水上のところが多いですね。While the diesel replacement program is also set to add significant solar power capacity 0.81 gigawatt, 81 gigawatt, with the first phase 0.16 gigawatt expected to commence in 2027. Indonesia-Singapore green electricity exports served as the biggest demand driver for solar project, with a total 3.4 gigawatt export capacity, and translated into approximately 7.56 gigawatt of solar power plant capacity. Solar power demand from industrial captive sites is also unexpectedly high, with the announced capacity of 3.75 gigawatt. ISR's analysis show that the on-site solar capacity potential in captive coal sites only 2.88 gigawatt, indicating that power wheeling could be the game-changing policy. PNN also has reviewed the allocated quota for the rooftop PV until 2033, 2.38 gigawatt, with the 2024 quota have only 6 to 10% left. Highlight enabling environment for solar power development in Indonesia ってことで、実際にどこに対してこのソーラーのパワーっていうのが起きるかってことで、これ90% ってことで、average until scale solar energy cost USD per kilowatt reduction in the Indonesian 2018-2020 19% ぐらいコストが減っていると。The possible utility scale solar power project to be bundling with other types of power plants 1.8ギガワットです。で、実際、flexibility capacity、柔軟性とですね、capacity、ramping up and down needed in Germany system to scale up rooftop solar adoption。で、746メガワット。で、実際にこの announced investment in 2024 for the solar energy in Indonesia っていうところで、112USD ってことですね。で、実際 jobs created from solar energy industry based on the latest RUKN 2019 to 2030ってことで、175銭ってことで、17万5千ぐらいのジョブ 1年あたりに生んでいくってことですね。Utility scale solar power plant cost in Indonesia have dropped by 19% in the 5 years. 5年で19%下がりました。Mostly driven by solar module and soft cost reduction. To include the adoption of utility solar scale solar. PNN has prepared bundling procurement with other power plant types as well as put forward strategic partnership with its subsidiaries. ISR has identified the need for the additional 746 megawatt of flexibility capacity to scale up rooftop solar adoption, provided by flexible power plants operation, notably coal as well as a major rollout of the energy storage system. Solar energy related investment in Indonesia also doubled from USD 68 million in 2021 to around USD 135 million in 2023. In 2024, around USD 112 million of investment in solar energy has been announced. To support the ever-growing solar energy sector, adequate and inclusive skills upgrade, both vocational and high-order skills, are needed to capitalize the expected 175,000 job years created. Indonesia solar power supply chain production capacity ということで、solar grade polysilicon, the non-available production capacity ということで、200,000 million tons announced annual production capacity addition. で、ソーラーシリコンウェファーですね。ウェファーはNo available production capacity. 実際これを11ギガと11ギガワット announced annual production capacity addition. で、solar cell no available production capacity を17ギガワットにしていく。announced an annual production capacity addition. で、solar module と2.3、2.3ギガワット annual production capacity ってところを19ギガワット announced annual production capacity addition. で、ソーラーインバーターもないですね。No available production capacity の、ここが No announced project で、インバーター輸入品みたいなことになってくるでしょうと。Indonesia's solar supply chain production capacity has remained stagnant in the past few years, with solar module production capacity stand at 2.3 gigawatts per year, and mostly running on the per project basis. Lack of demand volume and unrealistic local content requirements, LCR policy are several key factors hindering the development. However, the latest revision to relax solar LCR policy in the next 2 years could serve as a game-changing policy for scaling up to domestic solar demand. Announced commitment to investing in Indonesia's solar module supply chain has grown in the last 1 to 2 years, with several already beginning contribution phase. This is mainly due to strategic project Indonesia-Singapore green electricity export and Indonesia's geopolitical advantage in several foreign markets. To sustain this growth, the Indonesian government should be keen on giving more fiscal, non-fiscal incentives to increase domestic products competitiveness and create demand signaling through more solar projects in the pipeline. まさに需要を生み出していかないといけないですね。Solar energy leads a global efforts of tripling renewable energy by 2030, keeping the 1.5 sim promise alive. The world witnessed a remarkable increase of renewable in 2023 by up to 87% with 473 gigawatt of new installed capacity added, 73%, 346 gigawatt of this addition comes from solar energy. China leads solar energy adoption worldwide with 217 gigawatt new capacity installed in 2023, contributing to 63% of global installation. However, several emerging markets and developing economies, namely India and Brazil, also have significant increase in the solar installed capacity with 9.7 gigawatt and 11.9 gigawatt, respectively, making them among the top five solar market in 2023. India saw a significant rise in solar action and tenders in 2023 in order to achieve the India MNRE by bidding trajectory target of 50 gigawatt during 2023-2024. Melcom India, with the five lowest auction constantly reaching USD 3 per kilowatt hour of the awarded bid price. Interestingly, Brazil's solar adoption has been driven by distributed installation since its solar boom in 2019, mainly due to rising electricity tariffs along with net meter and self-consumption credit scheme. Despite rapid growth in the 2010s, the Southeast Asia solar market not really taken off since the pandemic, as only 2.78 gigawatt of new solar capacity was installed in the 2021 to 2023 period. However, some countries have slowly gained positive momentum. Malaysia and the Philippines instinctively emerged as the region top market in 2021-2023 due to various attractive incentives such as large-scale solar tenders and net metering schemes. The Singapore Green Plan 2030 considers solar energy as an important piece of their energy reset, resulting in consistent annual solar capacity adding above 140 megawatts since 2021 despite their limited land availability. Finally, Indonesia has started slowly realizing its potential as one of the biggest solar markets in this region, adding its all-time high 260 megawatt of new solar capacity in 2023. This worldwide progress is vital to achieve the global target of tripling renewable energy capacity to 11 terawatt by 2030 as declared in the COP28 Dubai, aligned with the 1.5 SIM Paris Agreement complement pathway. While other renewables are currently experiencing a relative slow progress in achieving the aforementioned target, solar energy is the only one being on the right track to achieve at the 1 terawatt annual capacity addition during the 2024 to 2030 timeframe. This incredible solar growth will set the nuance for renewable energy targets setting around the globe, reflected by respective country nation energy policy plan. Currently, the accumulated national targets show that solar energy is projected to contribute 43.6% of renewable energy installed capacity by 2030. で、実際にここのところですね、まさに2011年から2023年までに、いろんな形でこのソーラーっていうのがガンと伸びているのが分かると。で、この Southeast Asia Installed Solar Power Plant Capacity ということで、東南アジアっていうところでどこが伸びていると、やっぱりベトナムがダントツでドーンと伸びていて、その次タイだとか、マレーシアでフィリピンっていうのも伸びているんだけど、インドネシアってポテンシャルの割には全然伸びていないっていう状況だ。Solar energy slowly gains recognition as a crucial piece of Indonesia's energy transition. なので、太陽光実はインドネシアのポテンシャルあるから重要なトランジションなんですね。The government of Indonesia's views on the solar energy law will progressively evolve from time to time, reflected by its contribution to the national energy policy. Despite being in the middle of global solar boom in mid-2010s, Indonesia's National General Energy Plan which was enacted by Presidential Regulation 22-2017, observes minor solar energy loss, with a projected primary energy share of only 3% in 2015. Mini scale school contribution to the 31% renewable energy target by 2050 stated in the National Energy Policy. The 2019 to 2038 National General Electricity Plan also projected only around 3 gigawatts of solar energy capacity by 2030. However, the 2017 UN already recognizes the role of distributed rooftop PV to accelerate Indonesia's solar energy deployment. Thus, the first few ministerial regulations on rooftop solar were released in the subsequent years, namely the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources Regulation 49 2018 and 26 2021. Indonesia's energy policy then took a crucial turnaround after its announcement to go net zero by 2060 or sooner at the COP26 2021 in Glasgow. The Indonesian MAMR has recognized solar as one of the Indonesia's solar energy transition frontliner, reflected in the net zero emission 26 roadmap, which saw a build out of 32 gigawatts of solar energy by 2030 and 421 gigawatts by 2060. A joint report by IEA and MEMR proposed an alternative roadmap for Indonesia to accelerate its energy target 10 years earlier, with a major contribution from 500 gigawatts of solar energy in 2050. The Directorate General of New Renewable Energy and Energy Conservation also updated the solar energy potential from 207 gigawatts to 3,294 gigawatts in 2021, an important milestone for solar energy development in Indonesia. All these causes and development around solar energy role in Indonesian energy transition influence the latest development of the national energy policy. Um, Kebijakan Energi Nasional, a draft that should be enacted later this year. The latest draft in July 2024 stated at least 1.6% contribution from solar energy to primary energy supply by 2030 and around 32% by 2060. In its ambitious scenario, a significant improvement from the previous 2017 ruin. This number could be translated to minimum of 7 gigawatt and 309 gigawatt of solar installed in 2030 and 2060, respectively. However, the latest discussion of the Lucan draft in May 2024 only identified 14 gigawatts of solar energy capacity in 2030 and 134 gigawatts in 2060, as much less ambitious solar build out compared to the MERNZE roadmap and the latest CAN draft. ソーラーエナジーコントリビューションステディで in Indonesia policy ってことで、実際にそれぞれどんどん最新になってくると、太陽光の占める割合っていうのがめちゃくちゃ多くなってきているというのが見えると。The Indonesian power sector is mile behind in the race toward meeting climate targets, while solar energy could be crucial in speeding up renewable deployment. まさに再エネのやっぱり伸ばすには太陽光めちゃくちゃ重要だっていうところですね。Electrification is essential part of the global energy net zero game plan. If electrifying more end-use sectors such as transportation and industry could improve overall energy efficiency and emission intensity. In the deep decarbonization pathway, IESR's best policy scenario (BPS) shows an increase of 77.72% in electricity demand projection in 2030 compared to the expected load growth in the LPTL PLN 2021 to 2030. This study shows that heat and electric vehicle EV demand should contribute to 38% of Indonesia's electricity demand in 2030, aligned with the Paris Agreement 1.5 system pathway. This is in line with net zero projections from IEA and IRENA, which also shows significant annual electricity consumption of 547 and 756 terawatt hours, respectively by 2030. Reducing emissions from electricity generation will thus become more important moving forward. A ESR estimate shows direct emissions from electricity generation have contributed to 40% of Indonesia's energy sector emissions, equivalent to around 297 megatons CO2, with the 2030 target of keeping it below 334 megatons CO2. Several benchmarks have been shown the need to limit annual power sector emissions below the 200 megaton marks by 2030. However, renewable generation shares as per 2023 only account of around 90%, emphasizing a huge gap to a minimum of 30 to 57% renewable generation share by 2030, according to several 1.7 the same compatible pathway benchmarks with renewable energy generation, only rising 8% annually in the last 4 years. Indonesia needs to look beyond developing only baseload renewables such as hydropower, geothermal, and bioenergy. Solar generation only accounts for 0.2% of Indonesia's electricity generation. In 2023, however, several studies have emphasized the importance of solar energy for Indonesia in its race against 1.75 aligned climate targets, mainly due to its cost competitiveness and short development time. The solar generation mix target of 17 to 23% in 2030 could be achieved in Indonesia can be 10 to 15 gigawatts of solar power capacity annually in the 2024 to 2030 timeframe, on par with current leading countries, Germany, India, and Brazil. Capacity addition rate. This could only be done by tackling issues related to solar energy development, as well as nurturing as enabling environment for solar energy business to grow, which will be covered thoroughly in this report.